I spent half of my life in the Arab society, half of my life, and half of my life with the Jewish people, equally. And this is how I learned about both cultures. And this is how I know both societies and what they stand for. And one of them is the death culture that does not have actually regard to the human life, whether it comes to women or children. And I tell you, there is no society if women are not treated equally and respected and loved and protected, not abused and killed. The Palestinian problem is not a political problem. It's a psychological problem. It's a psychological problem. It's based on a false narrative. It's a narrative of victimhood. And the Palestinians, what so-called Palestinians, need to grow up. Time to grow up. They want to call themselves Palestinians. I don't care. But it will continue forever as a political ideology. Imagine, some people claim to be fighting against colonialism, adapting a colonial entity as their national identity. What a joke. Against the indigenous of the people of the land that actually have all the evidence that support that. Accusing the indigenous of being colonizers and posing as the indigenous people. But this is the human delusion, the inversion of narratives. This is, again, it's a topic really to be discussed in the psychology departments. This is not a dispute over land. It's not about land. Israel is beyond, the Jewish capacity is beyond political borders. Just look around the globe. There are Jewish communities all over the world, and they have been contributing to life and to their societies. Most wonderful people. Just think about how many Nobel Prizes the Jewish people have, and compare it to the others without mentioning names. How many they have achieved. They are recognized by their violence. They are recognized by their intimidation and bullying. And they are recognized because they are a majority. And they're recognized because they have the oil money. And they are recognized because they own trusts, bonds, banks. And if they move their finances from here to there, what would happen to the system? Hence, the politicians have been compromised because they're afraid. So you can think of it as a dispute between what's so-called Palestinians and Israel. And there is injustice against the Palestinian people that if we reward them today after October 7 and 70 years of targeting civilians indiscriminately, if we just tell them, here is a Palestinian state, let's fit it in this very small build, like the attempt of trying to fit 2 elephants in the eye of a needle. Let's try, see what happens. It's not going to work. Not in the near future. And I have to warn you, all the attempts trying to force Israel to do that are going to just complicate the situation. I'm not saying that the Arabs don't have the right to self-governing. They can self-govern. And we can help them with economy, with infrastructure. We can improve everything and remove actually all the corrupt leadership. And give them a leadership that is elected from, let's say, at the beginning, from autocrats, people with experience, with knowledge, maybe graduates from Princeton and Harvard and other places, but they have been busy protesting on behalf of the corrupt leadership, instead of being like the actually enlightened ones to see it for what it is and say, these people don't represent us. They have been advocating on behalf of Hamas. Hamas would kill them. Hamas would kill anyone who disagrees with them. So anyway, we have a huge responsibility, and we need facts, we need the truth, and we need to fight the false narrative. It's our duty to challenge them with facts. Next time when they say free, free Palestine, just ask them, what is Palestine? Ask them that. And please do a little bit of homework. It's not hard to figure out. If they want to be Arabs, I don't have a problem with that. If they continue to choose the Palestinian identity, I don't have a problem with that. But what I disagree with, and I will continue to fight with every power that I have, that they need to drop their violence. And they don't have the right to continue this violent indoctrination, forcing children to carry the burden of the mistakes of the past generations for eternity. This must come to an end. This is my job. I'm a child of that conflict, and I didn't know what was going on when I witnessed all the violence, when I was part of the violence, when I was pushed to be violent. But today I understand, and on that authority I speak, not on the authority of what's so-called international law that want to empower the perpetrators against the children and their future, that has actually been accusing Israel unjustly. And by the way, this hundreds of millions of people, okay, I don't want to say Muslims, but again, you can cancel me if you want. But this is an assault. It's a global assault. Hundreds of millions of people against a very small minority, repeating the same narrative. It became now acceptable as a version of truth. And we say no. We say no to that. We say no to violence. We must protect the children. We must break the vicious cycle of violence. Give the children the right to choose their future. Negotiations between me and my father reached a dead end. And that's me and my father. That's it. There is nothing to talk about. I cannot convince him, and he cannot convince me. And one of us is right, and the other is wrong. One of us is to the right side of history, and the other one is on the wrong side of history. And at this moment, I am not claiming that I am on the right side of history, but time will prove. What I know for sure, and where I stand in certainty, that violence is a dead end. And unfortunately, when they decided to go and did what they did on October 7th, I saw the footage that some of the public saw, and also I saw footage that was not released to the public, especially in relation to rape. How can you rationalize with people like this? That's it, it's dead end. It's over. And if Israel lose the war in Gaza, and this is what all the calls, by the way, for the ceasefire now, they want ceasefire now. Basically, they're telling Israel, drop your guns and accept the genocide that took place on October 7th. Accept the ethnic cleansing of 20 Jewish communities that they were killed based on their race, ethnic, and religious background. This is what defines a genocide. What's happening in Gaza is not ethnic cleansing, is not a genocide. But they have been enjoying the accusation of Israel, delegitimizing Israel, and creating a global chaos and spreading the false narrative of something called Palestine that never existed. This is why I am here today. And I take responsibility and I challenge the historians, I challenge the journalists, I challenge the philosophers, I challenge whoever, because I belong to that part of earth. This is my birthplace. This is where I came from. And earth has been crying. Enough. Enough is enough. Enough indoctrination, enough child abuse. They were not born Palestinians. They were born free, and they have the freedom to decide their future, and enough of Yasser Arafats and all these con artists who want to continue sacrificing children for their political and financial gain. Enough of this game. Enough. Call it Palestine, call it Wakanda, whatever you want to call it. So I don't want this to go so long, so I can take some Q&As. I can go on and on for eternity. For me, this is the hardest thing to talk about, but I have no escape. It's my responsibility.